Hello and welcome. I'm Annette Reeder from thebiblicalnutritionist.com, and today it's another grocery discovery. I've got a vegetable for you that I just wonder if you've tried this before, because if you haven't, you've been missing out big. Now, I'm going to share with you 7 reasons why I want you to add this vegetable to your diet today, plus 2 recipes on how to do it quickly tonight. Can't wait to get started, but before I do, be sure and hit the like, subscribe, the bell next to it, all of that, so we can stay connected here on YouTube and Facebook. Especially if you're on Facebook, go ahead and like the page, and I would be greatly appreciated. So let's go inside and check out this vegetable. Well, here we are in the store, and yes, the vegetable for today is kohlrabi. There's how you spell it right up there. You can see that. Yes, so here it is. Now notice it is right next to these beautiful cabbages. And if you look down the lane, you'll see the cauliflower and the broccoli. And the Brussels sprouts are down there as well. All of these are in the same family. Now, if you know what family I'm talking about, because it's one of my favorite foods to talk about, and I'm going to tell you why, but let's just pause the video, put in the comments down below if you know the answer to this question: what food family is the kohlrabi in? Then start back up and stick with me. The answer is cruciferous. Yes, I'm so glad so many of you got that right. Even if you didn't put it in the comments, I know many of you have been following me long enough, you understand what cruciferous is. These vegetables, when they bolt into a flower and they produce a seed, the flower is a delicate yellow flower that is shaped perfectly into a cross. Yes, so it is so delicate. That cross represents the cross that Jesus died on, which is why we have the name cruciferous, which stands for crucifix. So the botanists who originally named these vegetables, they were very much in tune with God and who He was, and so they named these after the cross. You also hear this family of vegetables called brassica, but I like cruciferous. It's a lot more enjoyable to talk about and to be reminded of what God did for us. Now, let's talk about the health benefits of this vegetable. Reason number 1 is it lowers the risk of cancer. Hey, that's reason enough for me. How about you? Reason number 2, it lowers the risk of diabetes. Some people are shocked to realize how many people are susceptible to diabetes, and it's all because of what we're eating. We're not eating enough of these, and we're eating more of the junk food. Number 3 is it decreases metabolic disease. Now what I mean by metabolic disease is these vegetables are going to help you to recognize satiety. We talk about that all of the time in our inner circle. So these vegetables are going to help you recognize satiety. With that, you're also going to improve your metabolism. Hey, that's worth eating these today. So stick with me so I can share with you at the end how to cook these. Now, the next reason is it will boost your immunity. I don't know about you, but we could all use a boost in our immunity. There's never a day that goes by that you do not need to be thinking about, hey, how can I improve my immunity today? And then it also lowers your LDL. That's the cholesterol that your doctor is on your case about. It's like, hey, you need to get that down. So instead of using the medication, let's just eat the foods that God designed for us. And then lastly, it's rich in folate. Now, folate helps to prevent birth defects. So every woman and every man who's going to conceive a child needs to be having lots of these vegetables in your diet. So we need to have healthy children. The flavor of these kohlrabi is more of like a sweet broccoli. Yes, so what we're going to do is we're going to go home and we're going to learn how to cook these and enjoy these. Never waste a green that grows on top of a cruciferous vegetable. We want all of the nutrition in the greens and also in the bulb. So I'm going to teach you how to take care of this as well. And we're going to make 2 dishes. So it's just like a sweet broccoli. So hey, who doesn't love a little sweet in their life? So let's go to the kitchen and I'm going to teach you how to enjoy 2 fun recipes for dinner tonight. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm so glad you're joining me here. I'm going to make 2 recipes with the kohlrabi, and they're quick, easy, so I know you can have these for dinner tonight. Now let's get started first with our apple slaw. So here's our kohlrabi. I'm going to go ahead and just trim those off. We are going to use these in our second recipe. Let me go ahead and cut off that woody stem part. And just for fun, I'm going to put that in my garden and see if it grows. There are many times your celery and cabbages will grow when you just put the stem back in there. So we're just going to go ahead and cut it in pieces so that we can put it in our slicer shredder for our Bosch mixer. You could also do this yourself just by making some small julienne pieces if you don't have a nice shredder like I have. So to give you an idea, let me just go ahead and show you how to do that. So actually that felt a little tough on the bottom. Oh, sure enough, I didn't get all of the outside off of there, and that's just gonna make it a little bit of toughness, and I don't want that in the dish. Sometimes, especially when you're trying a new vegetable with your family, you wanna make sure you do as good as possible so you have a good impression. There we go. Oops, a little bit there too. A little bit of the outside still on there, and that is gonna make it a little bit tougher. So if I was doing this without my shredder slicer, I would just make some fine slices like that. There we go. And then I would just go ahead and slice them again this way. Now, this is definitely super easy, there's no skills involved in chopping this up, and you can make it look however you want. We're just making a fun slaw. The only 2 ingredients that we're using are the kohlrabi and our fresh apples. So the rest of this, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw in our slicer shredder. I just need pieces that are going to fit in it well. I'll go ahead and chop that so that way I can feed it down the chamber. You can see what I mean by making short work of a job. I am all about, when it says in Proverbs, she gets her maids working. This is one of my maids. It's my slicer shredder, and it works hard for me. There's hardly a week goes by that I don't use it. So there we have it. They're more of a julienne. Let me just show you the blade that I used. So this blade has a large size, and then I could flip it for a more fine shredding. So it's perfect. If you have a good food processor, you probably have the same options. To mix up this salad, we're going to go ahead and take the kohlrabi and the apple, put it into our bowl. And yes, I'm using this fun Fisky. We have these on our website, designedhealthyliving.com. Mix this up, and then we're going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and add in the other part that we chopped up by hand. So just together, fresh and raw, this would be delicious. The apples are going to help blend and help just kind of complement the flavor of the kohlrabi. So you totally could do it just like this. But if you wanted to add a dressing and maybe a topping of some nuts or even some cheese. So I mixed together here 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and just kind of a sprinkle of some tarragon in there. Go ahead and put that on there and mix that up. To this, I could also add just some cheese. I could add feta, Parmesan, Gouda cheese. Any of those would be delicious. And I could also add some roasted sesame seeds. And there you have it. Whether you buy the purple kohlrabi or the green, you're going to have a white center. So it's not going to change the color of your salad. It just will change the looks in the grocery store. All right, there we have our salad ready for tonight. For our second recipe, I've already cubed up the kohlrabi. I have sliced up some garlic. I've minced some onion. Now, we're also going to use the greens for this part. So what we want to do first is remove the rib of the lettuce. And if you have a sharp knife, you can just go right down there and just cut that off. The rib is just too fibrous, too tough. It's not going to be enjoyable, but it will taste really good in a vegetable broth. If I'm making a vegetable broth, that rib will add a lot of nutrition to it. If you have a sharp knife, usually you can just go down like that. Looks like I need to sharpen my knife a little bit. And that one's a little bit yellow, so I'm not going to use that one. And if you're getting this fresh out of your garden, they are going to be a lot more, fresh and vibrant, and instead of a little bit of wimpy. It's been a little bit of time since I was at the grocery store, and so I had other errands to run, so they're just a little bit wimpy. Definitely get those ribs out. I'm now going to just go ahead and just roll these up. There we go, a little bit of a rib there. I'll just pull that out. I don't want any toughness. I want my family to love this. So I'm gonna make a cut down the middle. And then I'm just going to make I'm just gonna chop it up. I just want it to be nice and small pieces so that when it's all cooked together, it's going to be delicious. I gotta tell you, while I was getting ready for this recipe, I just took a quick bite of the apple slaw. Oh, that is so good. I've made it before, but sometimes you forget about all the recipes that and then you bring it back and it's like, oh, I should make this a lot more often. That is definitely going to be a treat at many get-togethers, serving it to people who are sick from coming home from the hospital. It's gonna be a perfect dish for them too. Now this recipe, we're going to saute some garlic and some onion. I've already done that. So now we're going to go ahead and add our kohlrabi. I did use about 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, or you could also use avocado oil. I have it on a medium heat. Now we're going to let this cook and get just a little bit tender. I want it somewhat crisp tender. That would be perfect. When you have such a good vegetable like this, you don't want to overcook it. Now let me give you some other cooking ideas. Another great way to use this would be to roast it and make it nice and soft like you would a sweet potato, and then add it into your mashed potatoes, your white mashed potatoes. I wouldn't do 100% of it, but I would definitely add maybe a half kohlrabi the first time I do a batch for my family, see how well that goes over. I've done so much with the sweet potatoes, or actually also the mashed potatoes, that my family doesn't always know what to expect when they get their very favorite food to eat is mashed potatoes. So I have done a lot of vegetables in their mashed potatoes. I think they would be surprised if they ever had the old-fashioned mashed potatoes. Now that they've cooked just a bit and they're just a little bit softened up, I'm gonna go ahead and add the greens, and we're gonna cook this until the greens are wilted. Then we will add some cheese and we're ready to serve. It's that simple. Sometimes we get stuck on eating the same vegetables all the time when there's so many more in the grocery store or that we can grow. And this is definitely a vegetable you can grow anywhere in the United States, probably anywhere around the world. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I would guess. Now I would salt and pepper this to the flavor that you like. Other than that, that's the only seasonings I'm going to use. Top it off with a little bit of cheese, could be Parmesan. Feta cheese would go really well in this. So Parmesan or feta would be my favorites. We're gonna sprinkle in a little bit of feta cheese, get that to break up. There you go. Oh my goodness, you have got to go get some kohlrabi today. These dishes are delicious. You're gonna be surprised if you haven't tried it already, and you're gonna be asking yourself, like I am, why am I not serving this more often? Enjoy these dishes, and once again, thanks for joining me in my kitchen. Thanks for letting me share with you this vegetable. I am so going to add this in my diet a lot more. I'm going to try growing it this summer. What about you? Are you going to try growing it? I got to find the seeds though that I really like. I'll post that in the Facebook group if you're in there. So remember, this video was sponsored by biblicalnutritionacademy.com. That's where we host all of our courses on how you can celebrate and enjoy God's recipe for excellent health. I can't wait to see you there in those courses. Till next time, I am Annette Reeder from thebiblicalnutritionist.com.